Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Raidraptor deck profile. So I'm really excited this week guys, because this deck is a really powerful Xyz based deck that can summon out one of the most powerful Xyz monsters ever created, which is Raidraptor Ultimate Falcon. And I've changed up this deck a lot from the previous build and included all sorts of really amazing tech cards in this particular deck, and I'm really excited to show you guys all those changes. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe guys, hit the bell there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name searched in a single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron, along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into it guys. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Raidraptor Tribute Lanius. This card is a great normal summon in the deck because it has the ability that when it's normal summon, it lets you Foolish Burial a Raidraptor card from your deck to the graveyard, which is a super powerful effect, especially if you want to send to the graveyard like a copy of Mimicry Lanius that can then banish itself and give you a search. This card also searches your rank up magic spells if it destroys a monster by battle during the main phase 2, which is really good because you can grab the quick play rank up magic spells from the deck and then use them to Xyz summon into some really powerful cards. We then play 3 copies of Raidraptor Strangle Lanius. This card is a great extender in the deck because if you control a dark monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and also you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except dark monsters, which is not that big of a deal because the majority of the stuff we're playing in this deck is dark anyways, so that never really comes up except when you're trying to summon out like a Cyber Dragon Infinity from the extra deck. This card also has the ability if you control an Xyz monster with a dark monster as material, then you can target a level 4 or lower Raidraptor monster in the graveyard and special summon it, which is a really good effect just to be able to give you another card from the grave to make another Xyz monster. We then play 3 copies of Raidraptor Vanishing Lanius. This card, when it's summoned to your side of the field, lets you once per turn during the main phase. If this card was normal summon or special summon this turn, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Raidraptor monster from your hand, which is a good effect to be able to get you additional monsters on your side of the field. So this card is a great 3 of. We then play 2 copies of Raider's Wing. This card is very easy to summon to your side of the field to get additional monsters on the field for Xyz plays because it has the ability, if this card is in your hand or grave, you can detach a material from any dark Xyz monster to special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. And this card is always treated as the Phantom Knight and a Raidraptor card as well, which is really good for this particular deck. It also has the ability that if this card is used for the Xyz summon of a monster that's dark, it gains the ability that your opponent cannot target the monster with card effects, which is pretty good to make your cards untargetable as well. We then play 3 copies of Pain Lanius. Pain Lanius can special summon itself to your side of the field if you control another Raidraptor monster by targeting Raidraptor on your side of the field. Then it gains the levels of that monster, matching the levels going to like a level 4, which is pretty good because it gives you an additional monster on the field. The only downside of this card is you can only use this effect once per turn, and you do lose some life points, whichever one's lower between the attack and defense of the monster that you did target. So for example, if I target my copy of Tribute Lanius, I'll lose 400 life points because its defense is 400, but this card will special summon itself out to my side of the field as a level 4 monster, giving me 2 level 4s on the field just at the cost of 400 life points. We then play a single copy of Singing Lanius. If you control an Xyz monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is a pretty good effect just to get us an additional monster on the field, especially once we've already summoned out our copy of Force Tricks. You can search this card very easily from the deck to give you additional monsters so you can extend your plays. We play a single copy of Mimicry Lanius. This card is you're going to be using this card to send to the graveyard off your copy of your Tribute Lanius because you can banish from the graveyard to add a Raidraptor monster or Raidraptor card from your deck to your hand, which is a pretty powerful effect to just be able to normal summon out that copy of our Tribute Lanius and get that search. We then play a single copy of Zaphros the Elite. Zaphros the Elite is a great one of because it has the ability, if it's in the grave, you can return one face-up card you control to your hand and then special summon this card back from the graveyard, but you take 400 points of damage, and you can only use this effect once per duel, which is okay because you're just going to be using it once per duel usually anyways. We then play a single copy of Silent Boots, the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots. You can manage this card from the graveyard to be able to search a Phantom Knight spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is pretty good in this deck because you're going to be searching out cards like your copies of Fogblade to give you additional negations. We then play a single copy of Ancient Cloak. Ancient Cloak can banish itself from the graveyard to search the Phantom Knight card from the deck, which is a great effect to be able to grab any of those Phantom Knight cards that you need. And then we play 3 copies of Ash Blossom as well. just to be able to make sure that the opponent cannot touch the deck. Basically, this card says if your opponent touches the deck, you discard this card from your hand and then stop them from using that effect. If they add cards from their deck to the hand, special summon from the deck, or send something from the deck to the graveyard, you can basically say no to it. So this card is a great hand trap for this particular build. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is a great one of in here because it's just going to stop the opponent from hand trapping us. It's very important to not get hand trapped in this particular deck, especially when we're trying to search or send certain cards to the graveyard. We then play a single copy of Raidraptor Nest. This card, if you control 2 or more Raidraptor monsters, then you can add a Raidraptor monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is really helpful to be able to grab any of your Raidraptors that you need off of this card's effect. We then play a single copy of the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic Launch. This card is a great card to help you rank up into another monster, so I play this card as a 1 of in here. It has the ability that during the main phase you can target a Dark XZ monster that you control with no materials on it, and special summon from your extra deck 1 Dark XZ monster that is 1 rank higher than that monster that you control by using that monster as a material. So this card is a really good card to help you go from 4 to 5 or even 7 to 8 in this deck. We then play 2 copies of the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic Force. This card helps us go into any of our XZ monsters that we need to, because during the main phase, you can banish 1 or more dark monsters from the graveyard and then target a dark XZ monster that you control and special summon from your extra deck 1 the Phantom Knight, Raidraptor, or Xyz Dragon XZ monster whose rank is increased by the amount of monsters that you banish. So for example, if I have a copy of 4 Strix on my field that's a 4 and I want to go all the way up to Ultimate Falcon, I'll banish 6 cards because 6 plus 4 is 10, and I can immediately throw out the copy of Ultimate Falcon, which this card is great to be able to use that with, to be able to go into some really powerful XZ cards. You can go into a little bit smaller versions of that, where you go from 4 to 5, being able to just banish 1 dark monster from the graveyard, but usually you're going to be going from 4 to 5, or even 4 to 7 with this card. We then play a single copy of Rank Up Magic Soul Shave Force. This card lets you pay half your life points, target a Raidraptor monster in your graveyard that's an XZ monster, and special summon it, and then special summon a monster that is 2 ranks higher than that monster. The big play with this card is that you're going to be using it with your copy of your 4 Strix to go into Cyber Dragon Infinity, because it doesn't specify what type of monster you have to summon. It's just any XZ monster that's 2 ranks higher. So you're always going to summon out a copy of Cyber Dragon Infinity, usually with this card. Sometimes you can summon out your copy of Revolution Falcon, but usually you're just trying to go into that copy of your Cyber Dragon Infinity. We then play a single copy of the Rank Up Magic Skip Force. Skip Force is a great card to go into your other Raidraptor monsters, because it has the ability target a Raidraptor XZ monster you control and then special summon from your extra deck 1 Raidraptor monster that's 2 ranks higher than the targeted monster by using that monster as a material, which is a great effect. And then during the main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card and then a Raidraptor monster from your graveyard and then target a Raidraptor XZ monster in your grave and special summon it back to your field, which is a great effect to be able to bring back your copy of Ultimate Falcon. If your opponent outs it with like a Kaiju or something like that, you can just immediately summon it back out to your field if you properly summon it. We then play 3 copies of the new Wing Draw card. This card is a great 3 of in this deck, because this card has the ability that if all monsters you control are winged beasts, then you can draw 2 cards, and you have at least 2 monsters with different names, you can draw 2 cards. That's a really powerful effect. This card might as well be a pot of greed for winged beast decks, and it is a super crazy awesome card. Now you can only use 1 of this card per turn, but that's totally fine because you're always going to get to draw 2 off of this card's effect. We then play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness to round out the spells, because we really want to draw into this deck and draw out the exact cards that we need. So the Allure of Darkness lets us draw 2 and then banish a dark monster from our hand to be able to just get those 2 cards out from the deck and be able to just go in for all of our plays. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing a single copy of the Raidraptor's Phantom Knight's Claw. This is a great counter trap in this deck because it has the ability that when a monster effect is activated, you detach a material from a Dark XZ monster, negate the activation if you do destroy that card, and then if the detached material was a Phantom Knight, Raidraptor, or Xyz Dragon, and 1 Raidraptor XZ monster that you control gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. So for example, if I destroy a Blue Eyes White Dragon, then I gain the 3000 attack, which is pretty good. We then play 2 copies of the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine just to give us 2 additional level 4 monsters that we can easily summon to our side of the field, because this card can be activated the same turn as set if we don't have a trap card in the graveyard already. And then we play 2 copies of Phantom Knights Fogblade. Fogblade just negates monster effects. This card is basically a Fiendish Chain because it has the ability that when you activate it, you target an effect monster on the field and negate that face-up monster's effect, but it cannot attack or be attacked, which is a little bit of a downside because you can't attack into the monster. You have to pop it by different ways, or your opponent has to use it as a material for something to get it off of the field. But you can also manage this card from the graveyard to bring back a Phantom Knight monster from the grave to your side of the field, which is a great effect. So that's it for the traps, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're playing 2 copies of Raidraptor 4 Strix. This card is a great searcher for the deck because you just have to take any 2 level 4 monsters to summon this card. It gains 500 attack and defense for each wing beast monster that you control other than this card. And then once per turn, you can detach material from this card to add a level 4 dark wing beast monster from your deck to your hand. So it's really helpful to be able to grab the exact card that you need with this card's effect. We then play a single copy of Revolution Falcon because this card can single-handedly board wipe your opponent, which is really crazy. It lets you detach a material from this card, and then this face-up monster can attack all monsters your opponent control once each. And at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's face-up monster that was special summoned, that monster's attack and defense becomes 0. And if this card has an Raidraptor Izzy monster as a material, it also gains the effect that once per turn, you can target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the attack of that monster it had on the field. This card can single-handedly board wipe your opponent, and if they have 4 monsters and they can't do anything about this effect that were all special summoned, you can immediately just end the game with this card, which is why I play this card as one of in here. We then play a single copy of Raidraptor Revolution Falcon Air Raid. I just played the single copy of Air Raid because it works really well with the Revolution Falcon, so I just played this card as a one-of in this deck. We then play a single copy of Arsenal Falcon, which is usually the card that you're going to be ranking up into with your 4 Strix, because this card is really used to go into your copy of Ultimate Falcon because it has the ability to once per turn detach a material to special summon a level 4 Winged Beast monster from your deck, and if this card has any number of Raidraptor monsters as material, it can attack that many times each battle phase. And if this card is sent to the graveyard while it has a Raidraptor monster as a material, then you can special summon a Raidraptor Izzy monster from your extra deck, except another copy of yourself, and if you attach this card as material, which will actually summon out our Raidraptor Ultimate Falcon, which is a crazy powerful card. Basically, this card makes your opponent, it's unaffected by everything, first off. It also has the ability that it can make it where your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack points. And then, and if it has a Raidraptor monster as a material, you can once per turn during the end phase, make all monster opponent control lose 1,000 additional attack points. And if your opponent controls no face-up monsters, they take 1,000 points of damage, which is just a crazy cool effect. We then play a single copy of Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon because we're going to be using this card to rank up into your copy of Dark Requiem, which will give us an additional negate, which is really helpful. I love this card in this deck, and it's just super, super helpful to summon out this card, and it's just really amazing to be able to play Yugioh's Ace monster as well in this particular deck. We then play a single copy of Raiders Knight as well, because Raiders Knight will actually let us rank up into our copy of Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon, which this card is a crazy powerful monster. This card on summon cold waves the field. It can't be destroyed by card effects, and you can detach a material from this card, and it gains attack equal to all the monsters on the field. So this card can get absolutely humongous with all of the Xyz monsters that we play and all the cards that our opponent plays, which is just absolutely crazy to be able to just OTK your opponent. The only downside of this card is no other monster can declare an attack, which is totally fine because you're usually just going to end the game when you activate that effect anyways. We then play a single copy of Cyber Dragon Infinity because you can rank up into it with Soul Shade Force, and then we play a single copy of DDD Duodon King Cal Yuga. Usually when you summon this card, you're going to instantly win. You might be wondering how you're actually going to summon this card, but you actually can summon it a lot of different ways in this deck. You can rank up into it with your copy of the Phantom Knights Rank Up Magic Force. You can rank up into this card with your Rank Up Magic Phantom Knights Launch from a copy of Arsenal Falcon. You can rank up into this card in all sorts of different ways, from Soul Shade Force, from Revolution Falcon into Soul Shade Force. This is a really easy card to summon. but you usually want to summon it during your opponent's turn, because after this card's XZ summon, for the rest of the turn, other cards and effects cannot be activated on the field. This card totally locks down the entire field upon summon, and also it's a heavy storm as well, because you can detach a material from this card and destroy all spells or traps on the field. And you can also detach a material from this card and then target a dark contract, which you're not going to use that effect, but basically just cold waves the field and can heavy storm the field for all spells and traps. We then play 2 copies of Y-Strix because it's a great XZ's extender and can search our rank at magic spells, and on summon, it special summons out a level 4 Darkwing Beast monster from the deck. And then we play a single copy of Rusty Bardige because you can use this card very easily in this deck to search out your copies of your Fog Blades, send your copies of Silent Boots and Ancient Cloak to the graveyard, and get all the plays that you need off this particular card. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a really fun deck to play around with. I really hope you guys give this deck a try because I love Raidraptors. I love all the different plays that you can go into with this deck because they have some pretty insane plays and some crazy powerful boss monsters. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys. Hit the bell down there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.